Okay. This has been an interest of mine all offseason. I think it's made this offseason different from all others for the 49ers. So the Yorks and Parag Marate seem to be really into soccer. And they're not talking about it to Niner fans very much, although I think they're aware. But they bought Leeds United a few years ago. That's a team in the English Premier League. They just got promoted to the Premier League, and the Niners are renovating their stadium, £200 million project. They also bought a team in Scotland this offseason, Rangers FTC. Unclear how much the Niners spent on that acquisition. I just found out that there's a USL team in Sacramento called the Sacramento Republic FC. They're building a new stadium. That project is being led by a consulting firm called Elevate. That firm is owned by the 49ers and run by Al Guido. So they own a football team. They are defined by their football team, but they are growing, and their growth is all football, soccer. And I don't really know if it's good or not. I don't know what to make of it, but I do know it's a trend worldwide, and it seems like this is what's happening with sports. What do you think of multi-club ownership and how it relates to the 49ers?
Okay. I would add that I heard, and I haven't checked it out, that the Niners are thinking of buying the San Jose Earthquakes and moving them to
I don't
San
know
Francisco.
if they're thinking. I would imagine that they are. I mean, they're up for sale. It's in their backyard. How could they not? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. But,
Yeah.
I haven't investigated it. So here's what I think. There's two things involved. One is, let's call it the 49ers business group. I don't know what the hell they're called.
They call themselves 49ers Enterprises. But yeah, it's their business group.
49ers Enterprises, that's one thing. And then there's the 49ers football team. Let's put the football team to the side for a moment. The 49ers Enterprises, which would be the Yorks and Jed and whoever the heck else is involved, are beginning to define themselves not only as a football organization, but as a sports organization.
Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code Cohn, COHN, and download the app now.
They're increasing the definition of what they are from only football to sports. And I want to say, as an ownership group, I think that's laudatory, and it's a great idea. I do. If I were a really rich man and knew anything about business, I'd want to have a lot of oars in the water, not just the one team. I think owning, like Al Davis had one team, Eddie had one team, Eddie DeBartolo. I think that's becoming a little dated. And I think these people think like really big corporations, multinational corporations. So I applaud them. I think it's probably the way to go. Having said that, I have one caution. I'm going to pretend that I'm a fan for a moment. I am not a fan, but let's pretend for a moment I'm a 49ers fan. As a 49ers fan, does Lowell care about Leeds United? Does Lowell care if the 49ers Enterprises does well? I have no interest in that. I have no investment in that. I'm a 49er fan. So all I care about is, are the 49ers a good team? I'm going to root for them. I'd like them to win a lot of games. If buying all these soccer clubs does not hurt the Niners, then I feel fine with it. If there is something in the financial arrangement that takes away from the 49ers, I'm against it. I am. Now, do I know that anything is being taken away from the 49ers? Iggy, I don't know. My guess is if they're building a stadium for Leeds United, that may come out of 49ers money some way or another. So in that regard, as a fan, I'm not really pleased. I know we have a lot of salary cap space. Maybe if they weren't building stadiums over in Leeds, a city I can't even find on the map. I mean, I can find it if I look around. I know where London is. You know what I mean? I know where Ireland is. I don't know where Leeds is. And I'm never going to go to Leeds. But if they're building something in Leeds and it takes away money from our salary cap, I'm not in favor of that because I'm a 49ers fan. How do you feel, Iggy?
Well, I was a 49ers fan when I was a kid during the Eddie DeBartolo years. And I think what Niner fans loved about that era was that there was an owner who was a bigger Niner fan than anyone else. He was obsessed with building a dynasty. Yeah, I mean, he wanted to be rich and make money, but that seemed like secondary to winning championships. And he would spare no expense. And that's why they put in the salary cap, because he was spending so much money. And then with Jed, it seemed like, he's not Eddie, but at least Niner fans liked him because he's from the same tradition. He seems like he cares about the team. He's a fan. It seems like he wants to build his own dynasty and step out of Eddie's shadows, and that his heart's in the right place. So I think fans could, relate to that, get behind that. But now it seems like, remember a couple of years ago, Parag said this, and I think this was maybe like a peek into the thought process of the Yorks. He called the Eddie DeBartolo Niners a lemonade stand. And he's talking like, how can you say that about a dynasty? Because from Parag's perspective, he's talking about the business side, not the football side. And from the business side, it probably was a lemonade stand in terms of like the sophistication of what they were doing and how much maybe profit they were leaving on the table. So I think what we've seen is, maybe Jed wants to have a dynasty, will have a dynasty one day, but what his family and Parag are really good at doing is the business side of organizations. And they've really made the Niners so much more valuable over 25 years. They feel they can do that with a lot of organizations, and maybe that's their calling. It's all like, on those cable TV channels, those house flippers, they'll buy some dilapidated house and they'll fix up the kitchen and they'll do a couple of things and sell it for $2 million. I think that's sort of what the Niners are doing, except with soccer teams. And the question is, why soccer in particular? I don't know.
Maybe they feel they have a certain expertise in that area.
Possible. Maybe they feel that that's really like a global game and it's going to take off in America in the next 20. I mean, people have been predicting that for a long time. It hasn't happened, but they are invested in Europe, where it's a huge deal. And I know the NFL is trying to get Europe into American football. Maybe the Niners think there's some type of correlation.
Sure. And if they're right, again, God love them. Let them do what they want, but don't let it take away from the Niners. And I would add something else. I'm pretending I'm a Niner fan again. Oh, in this coming season, we only won 7 games. But I understand, because they're investing in soccer teams in Europe. Well, then I won't feel bad about it, because I understand. We, as fans of the Niners, we need to make sacrifices for Leeds United.
Right.
I don't think so.
Get started at factormeals.com/Cohn50off and use code Cohn50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
I don't think so.
Right. It's a big year for Leeds because they just got promoted to the Premier League. And if they don't make a lot of investments, they're going to get relegated back to the Champions League. And that would be devastating for Leeds. So this is sort of Leeds' year. And we'll circle back to the Niners in 2026, probably.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen. You can do whatever you want with Leeds. I hope they're great, but don't make it at the 49ers' expense. And what I'm saying is, I don't know enough about finance to know whether they're taking money from the Niners to give to Leeds and to give to the Scottish team. But if they are, I think it's a mistake.
I think it would be helpful for Jed or Parag or Al Guido or someone high up in the organization to sort of speak directly to the fans and explain to them why these investments in soccer teams are good for the football team, because you got to acknowledge them. Fans understand it's happening and they just want to know why it's a good thing. And I think Al Guido could probably give a great 10-minute presentation on why it's a good thing. But until they do, we're going to look at the fact that they have $46 million in cap space. We're going to look at the fact that they're undergoing £200 million renovation of Leeds United's field. Think, man, it seems like you're prioritizing things other than the actual product of your football team, which is the basis of your brand.
Iggy, I think what you said about them maybe spending 10 minutes and explaining this to fans would really be in their interest. It would be a very smart thing to do. And if they had Al Guido do it, you people probably don't know Al Guido. Al Guido is the greatest guy. He is wonderful. He's from the Jersey Shore. He speaks my language. He's a real mensch. And Al Guido is, and he's so forthright and honest. I think he could make a very good presentation, and I would love to hear it. I would.